like to open with asking my colleagues if there are any board member concerns.
None here.
None here.
How about down to Wildemar?
All good here.
Okay. Then we'll move to item 2, which, believe it or not, my agenda does not have any of the numbers, except I'm going to turn it over to you, Ben. I don't have an agenda here.
Okay. We have board member travel. Looks like Judith, you're going to a couple places, and Joe, but no concerns there. That's just receive and file, right?
Right.
That's correct.
Okay. On to item number 3, out-of-country travel. There's nothing there. Right, Wayne?
Yes, Vice Chair. So I did want to point out, though, that we are looking at a fuel cell conference in Japan, possibly in February.
No numbers?
We're looking into some of the aspects that would be associated with that, and we will bringing that back to the committee should that come to pass. So I just wanted to provide that heads up that we're working on that.
And when's that going to be? Or when's that
In February, potentially.
February? Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. And then
Chairman.
then we have to go into the
Chairman,
review for the governing board agenda.
I have one correction on item 2, and that is that for the travel, I will be traveling on December 2021 to Sacramento for the CAR board meeting. Is it 2021 or is it 12/13? No, it's 12/13. It's 12/13, yeah. They're doing 2 meetings in December, so that wasn't noted here. I just wanted to bring that up as I'm looking at it now. And
Very good.
December 5th, the meeting will cover the at-birth regulations that CARB's considering. Just think that's an important point for our board to know about.
And that'll be in Oakland, right?
That meeting is in Oakland on December 5th, and only at-birth regulation is taken up then. But that will affect our ship emissions, so that was something that sort of came up on our last meeting in the legislative committee, so I just want to bring that up again. Thank you.
Very good. All right, so back to the governing board agenda for December 6th. And when you have any questions on the agenda as it's presented here?
So, Mr. Vice Chair, I just wanted to point out that at the November board meeting, there was a request for us to see if we could get Rule 1111 on the agenda, and we committed to looking to see if that was possible, given all the notifications and concerns that we had. I'm happy to report that we are able to put Rule 1111 on the December agenda, and so we should be able to address any of the concerns associated with the heaters.
That's great. All right. I take it Supervisor Rutherford is aware of that?
Yes, in fact, we met with her last night in San Bernardino, and we met with a number of the contractors. And I would say that at the end of the meeting, the contractors had a much better perspective in terms of the requirements, the altitude aspects, and how the variances work and how the rule process actually carries out. So I would say it was a good meeting, and Supervisor Rutherford committed to having at the Stationary Source Committee the San Bernardino facility as a notice so that members of the contractors could comment based on the working groups that we're having between now and then.
Very good.
Yep.
All right. Any other concerns about the board member, or sorry, the governing board agenda for the 6th? All right. Do we need a motion on that since we are making a slight change then, or no?
No.
Okay. And then we have the attached audited financial statements. Sujata, do you have a presentation?
Yes, good morning, Dr. Burke and members of the committee. Sujata Jain, Chief Financial Officer. This item is to transmit the annual financial statements of South Coast AQMD for fiscal year 18-19. We have received an unmodified opinion, which is a clean opinion. And to present the results of the audit, we have from the audit firm of BCA Watson Rice, Michael DeCastro, Managing Partner, and Helen Chu, Engagement Partner. And I will turn it over to Helen to do the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Like Sujata said, my name is Helen Chu, and I'm the engagement partner with BCA Watson Rice. And I'm here to present the results of our financial and single audit for the South Coast Air Quality Management District for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2019. I will also go over some of the financial highlights and the auditor's required communications and management letter comments, and then at the end, any questions that you may have. The financial statement audit results, we have issued an unmodified opinion on the financial statements for the year ending June 30, 2019. The financial statements include governmental activities, blended component units, which is the building corporation, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund. We have also issued a separate report on internal controls over financial reporting and compliance in accordance with government auditing standards. I'm happy to report that there are no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies noted during our audit. For the single audit results, compliance with each major federal program, we have issued an unmodified clean opinion, and that the South Coast Air Quality Management District complied with the OMB compliance supplement on each major federal program. We have also issued a report on internal control over compliance, and there's no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies noted. A separate report on schedule of expenditures of federal awards. Again, that was a modified opinion or a clean opinion. The schedule of federal expenditures are fairly stated in all material respects in relation to the basic financial statements. The financial highlights, total assets of the South Coast Air Quality Management District exceeded its total liabilities at the end of fiscal year 18-19 by $692.3 million, which is their net position. AQMD's total net position increased from prior year by $109.4 million. And most of the increase was due to increased revenues and long-term emission reduction projects. South Coast Air Quality Management District's governmental funds reported combined ending fund balance of $857.1 million, which is an increase of $114.2 million in comparison of prior year. Okay. Actual revenues were below the final budget by $4.9 million, 3%, and that was due to lower than anticipated annual renewal fee revenue and mobile source clean fuel revenue. Expenditure savings were $16.3 million, or 10.1% of the final budget. The savings are attributed to salary savings from filling only critical vacant positions throughout the year, prudent purchase decisions, and postponing contract work and fixed asset purchases. Now, as part of our communication, we are required to communicate certain matters. One being our responsibility under generally accepted auditing standards. We conduct our audit in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America, and also financial audits contained in the government auditing standards, which provide reasonable, not absolute assurance about whether the basic financial statements are free of material statements. There were no illegal acts identified during the audit. For the year ended June 30, 2019, South Coast Air Quality Management District adopted GASB 88, which is certain disclosures related to debt, but it did not have any financial impact. There were no significant and unusual transactions. There were no significant issues discussed with management. No major issues discussed with management prior to retention, no disagreements with management. We did not encounter any difficulties in dealing with management during the audit. We are not aware of any consultations with other accountants. We are independent respect to the South Coast Air Quality Management District. And there were no significant adjustments in transactions. Now, the management.
Please enter your passcode followed by the pound or hash key, and I'll connect you.
Is that Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. Management letter comments. That is during the course of our audit, we identify any recommendations to improve the control within the South Coast Air Quality Management. There are no management letter comments to include. And then, any questions or anything that we could?
Any of the board members have any questions?
No, I don't.
I take it we have no public comment on any of the items today?
We don't see any.
None yet? Okay. Dr. Burke, do you have any questions? We're not hearing you on this side, Dr. Burke.
I'm glad
Michael
because I
Caccione.
swallowed my question. Sunjata, would you call me after the meeting?
Yes, Dr. Burke.
Thank you. I have no questions, Ben.
Okay. Did someone call into the meeting that is also at a remote location?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Michael, yeah.
Yes, both. Good, okay.
You can hear us okay?
Now, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, Sujata, that it's like a good, nice, clean report. So thank you for the report. And those are the kind of financial audits I like to see. That's great.
Thank you.
All right, Sujata, you also have an update for the item number 7, the fiscal first quarter.
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair Benoit. Good morning once again, and this presentation is our budgeted versus actual presentation for the first quarter that ended on September 30th, 2019, and this is for fiscal year 1920. So, sorry. I'll go over a brief overview of the budgeted versus actual results. Then I'll get into revenue fluctuations or comparisons, similarly expenditures, and then we have a 5-year projection based on these results. So briefly, our adopted budget was a balanced budget at $170.9 million for revenue and expenditures. We had amendments, and our actuals are coming in at revenues at $51.2 million and expenditures at $48 million. So here are the revenue comparisons, and once again, as a benchmark, we are pulling the first quarter results for fiscal year 18-19, which is last fiscal year, and comparing them. So you can see that the first 3 major categories, which are emission fees, annual operating fees, and permit fees, which are our stationary sources, are very much in line with what the first quarter should look like. And also, if you look at the bottom where it says total, you will see that we are very much in the range of 25 to 30%. So overall, the revenues are trending pretty much what the first quarter should look like. There are a few fluctuations in some other categories, such as mobile source, other, and area sources, and that has to do with the timing of when the quarter ended and some of the revenues coming in. On the expenditure side, On the expenditure side, once again, we have pulled the major categories of expenditures: salaries and benefits, service and supplies, capital and debt service. And once again, you can see that for the quarter, we are at 26%. When we compare it to last year, we were at 25%. And so one of the major differences is in the capital. And last year, we didn't purchase so much of the capital in the first quarter. We did catch up as the year ended. And that's because a lot of the capital was for the AB 617 project, and that money came in pretty late, when the fiscal year ended. So that's why, but this year we are pretty much on target. This slide is showing the use of fund balance so far. These are board-approved uses, and they have been approved by the board. So one is for the elevator renovation, and the other is for representation in Sacramento. So we have about $1.5 million that we have pulled so far. And this slide is on our 5-year projection based on how the fiscal year ended and what we know now. So this looks a little bit different from what we had presented when we came to the board with the budget. So in this one, basically what on the revenue side, we are projecting the last year of Title 5P increases, which is in 1920, and CPI increases of 3% in the out years also. And what we have added here, which the board approved in June, was the toxics fee increase. So in fiscal year 1920, we'll see toxics fee, that rule bringing in about 2.2 million because it'll start in January. And then in the future years, we projected $4.4 million. And that's why you see the fund balance change, because on the expenditure side, we are projecting any increase in retirement cost. Salary increases will have been projected for 1920 and 2021, and then we are going to go to the board, we're going to get into negotiations. So we don't have anything beyond that. The other thing that we have projected here, for which we will be coming to the board, is to ask for setting aside or building a reserve for our pension liability and also for the infrastructure, which is the building. So we'll be asking maybe $1 million each for that. And we have shown that in this projection, but we will be bringing a board letter if the board approves that, then that will be showing in our budget. And there is, of course, some uncertainties which mainly have to do with AB 617 being authorized every year. Currently, we are showing as if we are getting $20 million every year for that. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any board member questions?
I have none.
All right, very good. Dr. Burke, do you have anything?
No, I'm good. Yeah, I
Okay.
changed my mind, Sunjata. You don't have to call me.
All right, on to item 8, the status report on ongoing upcoming projects. Ron.
Good morning, Vice Chair Benoit, members of the committee, Ron Moskowitz, Chief Information Officer. As you may recall from the last admin committee, our mobile app was approaching 10,000 users. Mainly due to the devastating wildfires, we've blown past that number, and now, as of this morning, we're at 15,223 users, which is over a 33% increase. We owe a lot of this success to the coordinated promotion efforts between my staff, Derek Alatori's communication team led by Nahal, and our executive team, including multiple television interviews conducted by Jason Lowe during these fires. As part of finalizing our deployment of Office 365 in the cloud, we are training all staff on the basics and advanced features over the next few weeks. And we are also finalizing the phase 1 of the VW mitigation website project, which we're planning to go live December 6th, pending the governing board's approval. Everything else is on schedule, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Ron, I have a question. Excuse me,
Yes,
Ben.
No, go ahead.
Since we've been talking about mass emails for a number of months now, and it would seem to me that the sign-up thing would be a perfect reason to send one out. You know, that would you like information in case there's a wildfire or some other catastrophic event which would affect air quality? If so, sign up. I think we could blow by 100,000 if we sent one of those emails out. What's the chance of doing that?
We can do it, absolutely. We'll put it on as part of our project.
Do we still have that database of the 1 million people?
Derek. Okay. We would probably want to update that database because I think that database is a few years old by now. So
Yes.
we would probably want to purchase a new subscription to it and then initiate that project.
I think that's something you want to do, because the jump from below 10,000 to 15,000 is a real move. But, while we got it going, we might as well keep the energy moving forward.
I agree.
Mr.
Very good. Any other?
Yeah, I do
Go
have a
ahead.
question. You mentioned that the VW portion is going to be up on our website. Can you just tell me what's going to be in that? I'm not aware of it.
Sure, the first phase of it is, will allow people to apply for it. And then the second phase is going to be actually more of an internal phase of analysis on it. And Naveen, would you like to talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So we're going to be releasing the program announcement for the first installment for the combustion category upon board approval. That's going to be part of the proposal for the December support meeting.
So this is settlement monies?
This
VW
is
settlement monies?
the VW trust
The
mitigation.
trust mitigation. How much do we get?
We get $150 million total. For this particular category is $60 million for the combustion, and this is the first installment or $30 million program announcement up to the board.
So could we clarify on that? Because when the mayor says, how much did we get? We're administering the program on behalf of CARB, and we're administering it statewide. And so the thought was the first tranche, if you will, of funding came out from San Joaquin for school buses, right?
Yes.
And they're doing it statewide, and their amount was how much?
I believe it
90?
was 90 million for transit, shuttle, and school buses.
Right, so that's statewide.
Yeah.
So when this program was set up, we wanted to make sure that we, in particular, South Coast, had access to all of the pots of funding. And so part of it is first come, first serve, and part of it is making sure that all our people are aware. But I just want to be clear that 150, 60 million for ours for the internal combustion and the marine, I think, right? We may or may not get all of that here. Some of that may go to other areas, but we're managing that portion of it, right?
Precisely. The funding opportunities from any of the three administrating agencies is available statewide. And we're helping them with their outreach, and they're helping us with our outreach.
And so Bay Area gets some of this as well. And what is?
Potentially.
Yes.
Oh, I thought they were going to administer the other one of the.
They're administering the third, which is
Zero emission freight and marine, and then a smaller portion for the infrastructure for zero emission vehicles.
Okay, and we're just doing what? Marine and what else?
So the two categories that we have assigned to the South Coast are the combustion category, which includes trucks, class 7 and 8, combustion technology, marine applications, as well as locomotives. And the second category that will be coming to the board for approval is the zero emission class 8 trucks.
So our website needs to be accessed statewide.
Correct.
Yes, it's a statewide outreach.
That's right.
Yes. Okay, thank you. John?
But we'll just do the advertising here a little more heavily.
we told the others they don't have to worry about it.
It's amazing how Google can narrow down that advertising. All right, any other questions on Ron's update? If not, we have an action item, the transfer of funds for enhanced particulate monitoring program. Jason Liu, hello.
Hi, good morning,
ahead.
Dr. Burke and Vice Chair Benoit and members of the committee. This item is a straightforward item to transfer about $300,000 from the Science, Technology, Advancement, Budget and Salaries category to the Services and Supplies category for temporary services for the enhanced particulate monitoring program. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Any questions, anyone? Dr. Burke?
No?
No? All right, if there's no questions.
Move
I'll
approval.
take-
Move approval.
I'll
Very good.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Will the clerk call the roll?
Councilor Benoit,
Aye.
Mayor Mitchell,
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Dr. Burke,
What is that room they have you in, Caciotti? I worry about that, man. I worry about it. Let me see your hands. Are you in cuffs?
It does look like a booking room, doesn't
My
it?
vote's yes.
For an interview.
Vote is yes.
Every time I say Derek Alatorre, they put me in a smaller room somewhere, in a dungeon.
All right, that was a yes. Clerk, go ahead and give us the vote
Yes.
count.
Motion passes 4-0.
Very good. All right, on to our other business. Any of our board members have any other business?
Mr. Vice Chair, I just wanted to note that as we went through the agenda, we missed item 5, but as far as I know, there's no board compensation for any member, but just in case anyone wanted to raise, I just wanted to make you aware of that.
I appreciate that. Sorry, I missed that one. Any questions or anything else on that? The compensation, if there is none. And if not, well then, is there the question is a public comment anywhere? Any location?
Not here.
Nope, not here.
There's not a deputy there to interview Cacchiotti?
Right. Who's the guy with the flashlight?
It does. There's a mirror back there.
Is there a mirror on the wall with the camera, Cacchiotti?
There is.
Oh boy. All right. And if not, we'll go ahead and adjourn, and our next meeting will be December 13th at 10 p.m. Thank you all.